Well, hello there everybody. I am so excited to bring you the newest game from Avalon Digital Afrika Korps. For those of you that really enjoyed Winter War, this is based off the same exact engine as that, and of course, instead of being in the cold regions of Finland, we are now, of course, in North Africa. So I can't wait to jump in here and get a little bit of playtime. I just want to do a little bit of gameplay footage and show you guys the game, get you guys acquainted with it. Later on this week, we're going to actually be doing Operation Crusader as the British. But right now, I just want to show you the new game and give you kind of a rundown of what is available. Of course, we've got several of these operations available from the actual campaign itself. Like all of Avalon's games, you can always switch between either player A or player B, in this case the Axis and the Allies. We've got Operazione E, this is the Italian operation to actually attempt to counterattack O'Connor's forces. Unfortunately, the Italians got crushed in the actual historical battle, but maybe you can change things for them, who knows. Of course, we've got the entire Afrika Korps campaign scenario, once again choosing between the Allies or the Axis. This is if you really want to get the entire campaign into one playthrough. It's absolutely worth it, but certainly something for someone with a little more time on their hands. And a bunch of other exceptional operations. We've got Operation Battle Axe, which is a bit of a shorter and faster operation. Operation Crusader, which I will be playing either this week or next week as the British. I cannot wait. I mean, this is chock full of burning gasoline, tank combat, and the constant threat of an air raid. Of course, we've got Afrika Korps 1942, and this is starting with Rommel's second counteroffensive in 1942. I know a lot of fans of Desert Warfare are obsessed with the Desert Fox Rommel, and I'm sure you're going to want to try and take his forces and maybe, who knows, just maybe, get a victory over the Allies. It's certainly a tough attempt, but if you want to try it, this is the place to do it. And of course, the Great Battle of El Alamein. It's a short scenario, very short, but of course it has each and every part of the battle itself and really gets you into the mind of a soldier during the Battle of El Alamein on either side. A lot of great choices here to start the new game with. I always like to start with a sort of shorter scenario when I've just joined a game, and maybe we'll move to the longer scenario later. Now, of course, just like any other Avalon digital game, this game does have multiplayer by way of play by email, so you can always play against somebody and see who's going to be best. For instance, in the Battle of El Alamein, can your friend actually fight back with Rommel and win, or has he just been talking trash the entire time? Well, this is a good way to find out. Now, I mentioned that I was going to do Crusader next week, but you know what? I just can't help myself. I also really want to play as the Axis in this one, and this really gives us a chance to actually control Rommel's forces directly. So let's go for the Axis here in Crusader. Medium-length scenario on the Crusader operation starting in November 1941 with Ritchie's assault and ending in early 1942, guys. So let's jump right in, and hopefully we can get a victory as the Axis. Of course, the turn begins here on the British side. The battle's starting, you're leading the Allied forces, and this is, of course, if you're playing as the Allied player. Right now, the AI is playing this, and I'm just hoping that they're going to be nice to me and fairly lenient. If we actually get close to the front of the field, we can even see Rommel right there, but of course, we've got a tremendous amount of allies in the way. So right now, they're actually boosting a strong point here, increasing the entrenchment stack of this area, which means it's going to be a lot harder for us to break on through. Now look at that massive push. Luckily, we've got some mines in the way, but I'm pretty sure that the South African forces here are going to break right through. Now, of course, they do have a plane here. Let's hope that the plane misses some of our actual units, and let's hope that our mines and our obstacles can stop the enemy here. For those of you that have played Winter War in the past, you're going to be very familiar with this approach. And yes, it looks like 1st Brigade of the South African forces has been hit pretty hard. Now, you can see, of course, his hit points here on the left. We did retreat, but, you know, the real issue was the enemy greatly outnumbered us here, and all we really had were mines, tripwires, and a few infantry. Not enough to hold the area. Now, they have taken Fort Magdalena, and with that many tanks, I'm not at all surprised that they have taken the Fort Magdalena area. We're going to take a closer look at the unit icons here, because I want to show you guys just how beautiful they really are in terms of detail, in terms of just the appearance, are made perfectly for this campaign. The battle is starting. You're leading the Axis forces defending the Bardia Solam Fort Magdalena line in November 1941. Tobruk remains in Allied hands and must be captured. You have many cards to play that affect combat, movement, intelligence supply, and even meddling by Churchill. Historically, the Allies defeated Rommel at Tobruk and Gazala and pushed the Axis all the way to El Agheila. Good luck and Volvets! Alright, let's do it, guys. Well, we know what we have to do, and of course we're starting with the card draw phase here. So this is of course a phase where we receive some cards. Those that you can play this phase will be highlighted, so you know that you can go ahead and drop them down. Another thing that might be useful to some people, I quite like the display map, but let's say you're getting kind of tired of the display map, you could just go ahead and hit the minimize maximize button and put it over here in the lower right hand corner. If we turn on the region filter, this is extraordinarily helpful because it shows us what regions we control and what regions the Allies control. And let's face it, in a desert area like North Africa, it can be tough to know exactly where your line starts and ends. Now, I think it's obvious to you guys, as it is to me, that Tobruk is going to be the key here. However, I don't want to move any tanks away from the front, because if we move tanks away from the front of Gabr Saleh and these areas here, the enemy could easily just push in and attack, which obviously has got me a little concerned. Now, we're in the reinforcement phase, and we can either get a new minefield, well, a number of different things, some trenches to boost defense. You know what? I'm going to use the trenches card, and the reason is I'd like to drop the trench right over here in this area. We're going to go ahead and also drop the new minefield card, the logistics card, and the other logistics card. Here we go. Now for the trenches, again, I want to put them... I'm actually going to put them where Rommel is, because I don't want the enemy to break through Gabr Saleh. For the mines... Can we put them here? I don't think we can. Yeah, we're going to have to select this tank. He is on this line. Then again, I'm kind of planning to move with that guy. Let's select this unit right here, the reconnaissance vehicle. And for the destination stack, yeah, we'll go ahead and put it with our stack of tanks. A new minefield as well. Let's put it over here, guys, in this area that's kind of cut off, Solom. So now we've got some mines there and a supply vehicle. Why not? We'll go ahead and put it in Solom. Although I believe since this is a supply vehicle, it has to drop off at an actual port. So let's put it in Benghazi, quite far from the front lines, of course, but we'll be back here soon enough. Drop this one once again in Benghazi and validate. All right, guys, these are the reinforcements summary. Now, assuming you're playing with infantry, you will have an option to actually increase the amount of men in a squad. So I told you guys again that that left portion of chits is your health. And sometimes that'll be down halfway, 2/3, whatever. Sometimes in this reinforcement screen, you'll have a chance to boost that, to bring in replacements, to make up for all of the men you lost. Now, of course, we've got the air movement phase. The idea here, bringing in some units to bombard enemy targets to assist our targets in frontline combat as well. But right now, we are just going to go ahead and use aerial reconnaissance to successfully examine one hidden enemy stack anywhere on the map. Fair enough, I'll take it. I want to see if we have any other planes on this map. I'm not seeing any plane. Maybe at Solom? Nope, no air units here. There we go. We've got some beautiful air units here. And I'm guessing since we're going on the offensive, I am going to go ahead and engage. There is a possible interception here, but my goal is to, of course, devastate the defending enemy forces. Let's see if we can do this. The other thing we could do is just rebase this unit. We'll keep him here for now. Keep him on the coast. All right, you know what? Here's what we'll do. This guy will keep him over here. This second unit is who we're going to bring in to assist with the attack. In fact, I'm going past that unit to the enemy's units actually behind the line here to try and do some additional damage. Now, one interesting thing about Afrika Korps, and I believe this is also true in Winter War, is if you've got mechanized units, tanks, etc. Let's say, for instance, I've got a mechanized unit right here, and I want to attack these guys on the secondary line. As long as I have enough movement points, I could actually bypass this initial starting line. So I could bypass this fellow to proceed into this part and attack them. There are some issues or situations where that's not possible, but that's one of the features here. So let's go ahead and land movement. Oh, that's right, we need to play our cards. The reconnaissance. All right, let's select over here. And look at that. Oh my goodness, Richie has got an entire tank army. I'm glad we took a look here because I was going to attack with Rommel. That would not have been a good idea, but this is what I mean, guys. So for instance, instead of just immediately having to fight these guys, I could continue and push on through to the next region. I can't push on through to the other region, but this is just an example of what we could do. And what I'm thinking, right, is if we could cut the enemy off right here, then every single one of these British units are going to be out of supply way far away from the front lines, and we can just beat them up. So I'm really thinking that this might be the approach, to cut through either this way or to use Rommel to cut right through this way. It's a tough one. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my men, and I am going to attack over here. Now, we can also, in this particular battle, another interesting thing from a lot of the Avalon Digital games is we can still reinforce the fighters here. So I'm going to actually send some of my units in to reinforce that attack. I want to make sure that we have some defenders there, though, because now that area is not going to be defended. And let's also grab our German units here, push on through. Maybe we assist Rommel with a major attack here and see if we can't beat the British foe. Yeah, this is a big one. I'm not going to lie. We better hope that it falls in our favor. I'm even thinking of taking the Recam, the Italian unit here, and adding him just to have some additional power. But what I am going to do is actually take the Recam and keep him on Gabersale. So hopefully the enemy doesn't attack us. Try to move this infantry up as well to Aladem. Actually, we'll move him to Akron. Yeah, let's move him to Akron, a little closer to the front lines. The area in Tobruk is, of course, going to be an issue. So let's take the tanks and just get prepared to head into Tobruk. We don't need to head in there yet, but that's definitely on my list of things to do. Where are our beautiful supply vehicles? It's going to take you guys a while to get out of here, huh? They're going to have to follow the road system here. Which, to be fair, as long as nobody's shooting at you from the desert, seems to be a pretty decent road system all the way to the coast. Alright, that's going to be it there, folks. We're going to have to see how these battles go. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can do. I could actually attack from behind here and hit the enemy. Yeah, I'm going for it. Boom. I'm going to take this unit and move into Solom to defend it. Let's just hope the enemy doesn't go for Bardia. Basically, we have to win this battle in the north. It's very important for us to win that fight. Alright, enough talk. Let's execute this plan. Part of me really wanted to attack Tobruk, but I know better, and I think the best idea is just to hopefully keep them from leaving the Tobruk area. Here we go. Let's see how it goes. The Battle of Musaid, guys. This is a massive assault that we've done here, and I think we have a lot of luck. Look at just the Air Force support we get. So the first part is going to be actual artillery support. That's the first part of the battle. Looks like we missed with that. Secondly is the air support. So keep this in mind. We'll do a separate tutorial video about the importance of each of these. But there you go, guys. We actually got them to simply retreat. Now, we do have to break through with one of them, but seeing as these guys are going to be going back to airbase anyway, I'm going to send them north to assist with our attack there in the north, as you can see. In fact, what I should have done was I should have taken half of those planes and sent them to the north, but it is what it is. Let's go to Sidi Aziz. This is where we just sent a few of the planes at least. Open fire. Once again, we are going to hit them with the bombers, and look at that. A nice hit on 1st Brigade. We also have a recon boost because of the Nizza cavalry. And look at these units. Just look how beautiful the unit cards are. The Bersaglieri look exactly like Bersaglieri, even with the plume feather on top. So awesome. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep fighting. We're knocking the 1st Brigade around, the South African defenders here, and hopefully we can keep it up. Another tremendous hit. So there's several ways to win a battle, and that is something we'll go over in the tutorial. But one of the ways is simply inflicting more damage on your enemy, more hits on your enemy than they inflict on you. They may not necessarily retreat, but they will lose the battle. As you can see, the hit points on our units, the Bersaglieri, they're just not as strong as the enemy units. They have larger group formations, but nonetheless, we have pushed them back. And let's continue with the assault, the chase phase. Look at that, guys. We've knocked them down to half strength. Alright, the Battle of Bardia. So far, I'm very happy with these conflicts. We've come out on top when maybe we shouldn't have. Let's jump into Bardia. And once again, not much of a fight for our boys. Just breaking right through here. Hopefully we can completely destroy these units. Alright, the Allies have retreated again. Alright guys, the Battle of Fort Magdalena. And now we're facing the tanks. This is where I'm terrified. We do have Rommel with us, of course. We do have some artillery. But is it enough to beat a British tank army under Ritchie? I'm not so sure, guys. Now, we did actually get one hit on the enemy. Let's get some bombardment in here from the flat guns. And now some reconnaissance. Unfortunately, we're the ones taking hits, and only now has the battle actually started, guys. In other words, only now are the armies actually meeting on the field of battle. Come on, boys. We need those panzers to work overtime. Come on, Mena. Oh, okay, we each took a hit there. So, traded hits there between the 4th and the 5th panzers. We need to break this line. Once again, a lot of back and forth between the 4th Armored Brigade and our 5th Panzer Unit. But our 5th Panzer Unit is about to have to retreat, and this is an elite panzer. He's actually also getting a morale boost there, if you can see at the bottom, from Erwin Rommel. He's getting a +1 combat factor from Erwin Rommel, but it's not enough to break through here. We're going to need some additional forces. More specifically, some additional tanks, I believe. There we go. The victory is going to the Allies. It was going so well up until that battle. Now let's get to the Battle of Bir Ahmad. And here I think, yeah, it's definitely going to go against us. The enemy's playing an Italian demoralization card, which is going to remove the morale from any of the Italian units in battle. And of course, we are going to run away very quickly. We still got a chance to actually hit the 4th Brigade and cause some collateral damage. But of course, we're probably going to be retreating here. It's going to be a victory to the Allies, and there we go, guys. As you can see, all of the planes returning to the airbase there. I like to think we did all right. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments how you think we did on this first offensive. Well, we did take the Solom area. We didn't quite cut off. We were trying to cut off the enemy here. But we have made it a more narrow gap over here for the enemy. Now, of course, they could just take their general and buzz on through, essentially. But we've got Rommel here, just in case we need to defend. We've got some additional planes here, which we can use to defend. I was kind of trying to get him over to Rommel, but this will have to do. And now, let's go over to the enemy's turn. That is going to be the end of turn phase. Let's see what the Allies do, if they get instant revenge or not. Day of Infamy. A date which will live in infamy. Oh, this is when the United States was attacked by the Empire of Japan at Pearl Harbor. I love how the game gives you information on what's going on in other parts of the actual conflict. So an unsupplied unit, one of the enemy's artillery batteries is out of supply. Unfortunately, it's not their entire army, but it's a start. And okay, the enemy is going right through to attack the lightly defended area here by our infantry. And he is pushing through. Here we go, guys, the battle for Musaid. I'm hoping that our boys will hold on and win this one. We can't lose this area. Attack, amici! And unfortunately, our side is routed. We didn't take a lot of damage in that route, but routed nonetheless. Now, we said we were going to cut the enemy off. It's looking now like the enemy could cut us off, so let's put an end to that. Japan triumphant. You can see the different messages. So if you're playing as the Allies, it's a tragedy. If you're playing as the Germans, it's our allies Japan are triumphant. What a momentous day. I love that little touch there. Okay, guys. Card draw phase. Airbasing phase. Reinforcing phase. We don't have any reinforcements. But look, let's face it. We can't allow the enemy to keep this area. So I find that to be more dangerous than anything else. I'm going to send some planes there. I'm going to send the rest of our planes over here where the enemy, near Tobruk. The other danger is we're trying to take Tobruk, so we absolutely need to go ahead and knock down the enemy here, push them out of this area. I'm going to use the tanks and the infantry to hopefully force them back, but it's not going to be easy. Land movement. Here we go. Of course, we're bringing the infantry up to support. I'm going to take this infantry unit. Actually, I'll leave him here. Now, what we can do is we can select individual infantry units. I think that's what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to separate them here. So we have some defenders. And I hate that Rommel is going to have to leave Gabarsale to do this, but I think it's essential. This is one of the beautiful things about this game, is really making a big decision like this, because the enemy's got this territory right here, which if we cut off, we could potentially cut off the rest of their forces. The same over here, but a lot of risk is involved. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take Rommel. That'll have to work. I was trying to take individual forces, but I messed up. As for these guys, yeah, we can't move the Pavia guys separately. The Trento guys separately, no. So we're going to have to wait a bit for that. But that's my idea, is to cut them off here. Because as you can see, if they're cut off here, these guys over here will not be able to get any supplies. This region is just currently not one we can move in. And as for the tanks, I really don't want our tanks to be cut off here. We also have a tremendous amount of men over here that I don't want to be cut off. So let's go ahead and grab the tanks. Only air units can take this path. Okay, interesting. Maybe we go this way? This is going to be a crazy attack, guys. The other option is to go north. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Let's do it. We're pushing through with the attack. Oh, they had a little German Shepherd barking at us. So what we'll do here is we're going to go straight to this battle. Now, in this situation, you can see that we're not able to go past this area to try and jump to Fort Magdalena, and simply not allowed. The mountains, the movement cost, etc. We can, however, assist our boys in this battle. Let's go for it, man. It's going to be a major attack. I hope it works here. I hope this was the right move, as it were. And I think we push forward and see what happens here. Here we go, guys. The Battle of Akron. Now, this is a rough one for the enemy. They just retreated from battle. They didn't even let us begin bombardment. Once they saw that legion of Luftwaffe planes, they were just like, you know what, maybe this is not such a good idea. Dahad, again, a situation where I think we should be able to scare the enemy out of here. But again, we don't have any actual land units here, so we have hit them on the bombardment. The battle continues, and we do get a victory here. But again, the only reason we got that victory was because we got more hits than the enemy. They still remain in that location. They haven't retreated. El Guasc. Now, this was also quite important to cutting the enemy off with Rommel. Against the 7th Brigade, boys, you should be able to take on the 7th Brigade. And once again, it looks like the enemy decided to leave without a fight. Now, this is an opportunity to break through. So what I'm going to do... There we go. It's going to work. That second breakthrough might lead to a victory, guys. We're doing some blitzkrieg tactics here. You can actually see the attack right there. Come on, boys. Give us this victory. We did hit him pretty well. The question is he going to retreat? Another amazing hit. And yes, the side is routed, guys. The 7th Brigade running in terror. Now, I'm not going to send anyone else forward because the next attack would be Fort Magdalena. Unless we want to go ahead and push through to the fort. Well, we are Rommel, aren't we? Let's do it. We're going for Fort Magdalena. Just a pure push. Although here they're going to be much better defended. Let's open fire. Now, this was the really risky one, and the reason being, just look at our hit points here on the left side. They are not strong. We really were biting off more than we could chew. We should have stopped right there, let Fort Magdalena pass us by, but we can always come back with a stronger force. Of course, we can get reinforcements, replacements, and we can merge stronger armies here. Now, let's see how things are going at Bir Ahmad. This was another major attack, guys. We get some artillery preparation from our Italian allies here. In fact, this entire force is an Italian force. Make your country proud, amici. For El Duce. There we go, a few hits, motorized brigade hits. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't seem like we could stand up against what seems to be a very, very strong armored brigade there. So, of course, keep in mind, having tank units where you need them, infantry units where you need them, etc. This is all extremely important. Of course, you can merge units together, with some exceptions. But for instance, if I'm going to proceed here, you can see that Rommel's army right there is pretty badly beaten up. So my first course of action would probably be to fall back to my lines, reinforce, and also see what cards I draw. Some of the cards will actually give you reinforcements or let you know that reinforcements are on their way, things of this nature. Now, one thing I'm very proud of is look what we did. We did successfully cut this unit off. I know it's just one enemy unit, but it gives you an idea of how this works. So he's going to be basically losing resources every turn, or points, to keep this unit supplied. And over here in Tobruk, I wish I could say the same thing is true, but since they're on a coast, they still get supplies from other allied areas here to Tobruk. So we haven't cut them off. But it's an interesting start, and it just shows you how much possibility there is in this game to really bring your own strategic vision to the battlefield. So whatever you want to do, maybe you want to do something completely different from what I did. I did the typical Agrippa Ultra attack, and my goal, of course, was to cut off this area right here north of Fort Magdalena, because that would have cut off just a large part of the enemy army. But it seems most of them were smart enough to fall back over here behind the Fort Magdalena area and start to build up those forces. In any case, I hope you really enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope you're interested and want to see some beautiful Afrika Korps. Personally, I'm having a lot of fun with this game. Sometime either this week or next week, we're going to come back with a full battle, and I want you to let me know down below if you want us to play as the Axis or the Allies, and specifically which of the operations you want me to take on. It's been an amazing fight, and I can't wait to see if I can get total victory, but unfortunately, some of these attacks were pretty rough on our infantry. Nonetheless, our armored and aerial attacks were tremendous. So huge thanks to the Luftwaffe. Thanks again, guys. Please make sure to take a look at Afrika Korps on Steam. Make sure to put it on your Steam wishlist. That really helps with the algorithm of Steam itself. And take a look at the game. Again, if you're a fan of Winter War, this is a game you cannot miss. Take care, folks.